Shocking dismantling of dogma, irreligion, freethought and humanism. Dear viewer, let's take a romp through the godless, guileless and giddy good into a thorough and witty exploration of irreligion, freethought and secular humanism. Human civilization has long been entwined with religious traditions, from ancient myths to modern megachurches. Yet, in the grand mosaic of thought, a vibrant streak runs counter to conventional faith. These are philosophies that question, critique, and often outright reject religious dogma. Unholy trinity of non-belief. Imagine, if you will, a grand intellectual buffet. On one table there's a steaming platter of irreligion, which is bold, simple, and unapologetically godless. Next to it, a bubbling cauldron of free thought, where ideas are seasoned with skepticism and served with a side of defiance against dogma. And finally, a wholesome, hearty stew of secular humanism, simmering with ethics, reason, and a dash of optimism about humanity. These three philosophies, often lumped together like a defiant three musketeers, each have their own flavour, their own fervour, and their own fan clubs. Some people embrace one while dismissing the others. Some blend parts of them into a personal worldview. But what truly sets them apart? And why do they inspire such fervent debate among skeptics, atheists, and humanists alike? In this exploration, we will delve into the nuances of irreligion, freethought, and secular humanism, teasing out their tantalizing similarities and tracing their telling differences. Along the way, we'll meet some of their most famous proponents, unpack their occasional squabbles, and perhaps even determine which one aligns best with your own outlook. Prepare yourself for a plunge into the profound, peppered with playful prose and a plethora of pertinent points. So, dear viewer, grab a seat at the table, no prayer required, and let's dig in. Warning: this video may contain traces of pretentious vocabulary, meandering metaphors, intentional alliteration, and a sleep-inducing monotone narration. You're welcome. Part 1. Irreligion. No God, no master, no problem. If irreligion were a person, it would be the no-nonsense friend with arms crossed who, when asked about their views on God, simply replies, "I don't believe in that," and moves on to the next subject. Irreligion is not a philosophy in itself, but rather an absence, a cosmic shrug toward the divine. It is a rejection of religious belief without necessarily replacing it with anything else. Defining irreligion encompasses a range of positions, from passive indifference to active opposition. At its core, it includes atheists with the firm conviction that there are no celestial captains guiding the universe, agnostics shrugging their shoulders with a philosophical "who knows," and anti-theists who believe that religion is not just false but harmful. Unlike freethought or secular humanism, irreligion does not prescribe a particular way of thinking or living. It is defined by what it denies rather than what it affirms. It just says, "Religion, not for me." The many faces of irreligion. Some irreligious people are quiet about their disbelief, treating it as a personal matter. Others are more vocal, arguing that religion has too much influence on society and should be challenged. The latter camp includes figures like Richard Dawkins, whose book, The God Delusion, became a manifesto for modern atheism, and Madeleine Murray O'Hair, the activist who successfully campaigned to remove prayer from US public schools. This camp also includes Ron Reagan, son of the 40th President of the United States, Ronald Reagan, who famously said on TV,
"Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell."
Then there are the apatheists, who are people who simply don't care whether gods exist or not. For them, religion is irrelevant, like arguing over how many angels can dance on the head of a platypus. The strengths and limits of irreligion. Irreligion's greatest strength is its simplicity. It doesn't require elaborate arguments or alternative worldviews. It just says, I'm not convinced. But this simplicity can also be a limitation. Without a positive framework to replace religion, some irreligious people struggle with questions of meaning, morality, and community, which are areas where religions have traditionally provided answers. This is where freethought and secular humanism step in. Part 2. Freethought, the rebel with a cause. Dear viewer, freethought is the James Dean of this trio. Cool, rebellious, and always asking, why should I believe you? It's not just about rejecting religion, it's about rejecting any belief that can't stand up to scrutiny. Freethought is the art of thinking outside the box, or rather without a box. The essence of freethought. At its heart, freethought is a method rather than a conclusion. It insists that belief should be formed through independent inquiry, free from coercion, tradition, or authority. This means that, in theory, a free thinker could believe in God if they arrived at that belief through rational inquiry rather than blind faith. Freethought is so skeptical that if it smells like dogma, freethought sprays intellectual Lysol. Historically, freethought has been a driving force behind movements for secularism, scientific progress, and civil liberties. The Age of Enlightenment was a golden era for freethinkers, with figures like Galileo, Voltaire, and Thomas Paine challenging the dogma of church and state. Freethought in action. A classic example of freethought is Socrates, who famously declared that the unexamined life is not worth living. His relentless questioning of Athenian norms and his refusal to stop even when threatened with death embodies the freethinker's spirit. In modern times, Christopher Hitchens exemplified freethought with his razor-sharp debates, where he dismantled religious and political arguments with equal fervour. His motto might as well have been, "Doubt is not a weakness, it's a strength." The tension between freethought and irreligion. While many freethinkers are irreligious, not all irreligious people are freethinkers. Someone might reject religion due to upbringing or personal experience without ever deeply examining their own beliefs. Freethought demands more. It demands a commitment to skepticism even when it's uncomfortable. This can lead to friction. A hardline atheist might say, God doesn't exist, while a freethinker would counter, how can you be certain? What's your evidence? Freethought keeps the door open to doubt, even doubt about doubt itself. Part 3. Secular Humanism, Building a Better World Without Gods. If irreligion is the bar humbugger of philosophy and freethought is the rebel, secular humanism is the optimistic activist who says, fine, no gods, now let's make life better. It's not just about rejecting religion, it's about replacing it with something meaningful. The foundations of secular humanism. Secular humanism is rooted in the idea that morality doesn't require dogma, superstition, or supernatural eye-in-the-sky justification. It's ethics without eternity. Instead, secular humanism draws on reason and science, which uses evidence to understand the world and solve problems. Ethical philosophy, which values compassion, justice, and human dignity, plus progressive values that advocate for education, human rights, and social reform. Unlike irreligion, which is defined by absence, secular humanism offers a positive vision for how to live. It seeks to preserve human rights, advance social justice, and promote scientific progress, all while advocating a clear separation between religion and governance. Reason, ethics, and progressive values are secular humanism's holy trinity. Icons of secular humanism. Carl Sagan, the astronomer and science communicator, embodied secular humanism by promoting wonder and critical thinking. His famous pale blue dot speech emphasized the fragility of Earth and the need for human cooperation without invoking gods. Bertrand Russell, philosopher and activist, argued that a life guided by reason and empathy was not only possible, but preferable to one dictated by dogma. His essay A Free Man's Worship is a secular humanist classic, celebrating human courage in a seemingly indifferent universe. Secular humanism versus anti-theism, a frenemies rivalry. While secular humanists and anti-theists both reject religion, they often differ in tone and strategy. Anti-theists see religion as an active evil that must be confronted. Secular humanists, on the other hand, tend to focus on building alternatives such as promoting secular ethics, supporting science education, and fostering inclusive communities. This can lead to lively debates. An anti-theist might accuse secular humanists of being too soft on religion, while a humanist might reply, "Why waste energy fighting faith when we could be fixing the fragile world?" Part 4. Trio of Challenges. Dear viewer, there are also some challenges to consider with these three philosophies. Irreligious individuals may face social stigma, discrimination, or even persecution in some parts of the world. Free thinkers may struggle to find like-minded communities or to navigate the complexities of dogmatic societies. Secular humanists may face criticism from those who believe that morality requires a divine foundation. Part 5. Which path resonates with you? So, dear viewer, if you simply don't believe in God or gods and don't feel the need for a deeper philosophy, you align with irreligion. If you relish questioning everything and demand evidence for all claims, freethought seems to be your calling. If you want to live ethically and make the world better without appeals to the divine, then secular humanism may be your guide. These three perspectives are not mutually exclusive. Many people weave elements of each into their worldview, blending skepticism, disbelief, and humanist values. What unites them all is a commitment to thinking for oneself, a principle worth celebrating. This is true whether you're a devout atheist, a curious skeptic, or simply someone trying to live a good life. Whichever camp you fall into, remember this: the real sin isn't disbelief, it's not thinking for yourself. Now go forth, doubt boldly, and if you're feeling generous, maybe do something nice for humanity. No deity required. Amen. Wait, scratch that. Cheers.